obviously you saw what happened with Mr. Alexandrovich, who somehow got his get out of jail free card because he's a Zion Nazi, and the state attorney for the state of Nevada is an Israeli national. Try explaining that one.
Yeah, I remember that.
Is that even the talk of the town? Like, has that something that's like come up, or even maybe even some people that are sympathetic to the Israel cause are kind of like, wow, we're literally letting like pedophiles.
Well, that's always been the case.
Like a get out of jail free card?
Israel is a sanctuary city for pedophiles.
Yeah, great question. And like, it's been a source of frustration for me that the general population just doesn't care about all these things. Like, we're just shielding this pedophile. Like, why? And like,
not just any pedophile. Like, this guy is way high up in the Israeli government. He's no slouch. Like, he's in Netanyahu's circle. Like, he's one of those guys.
Yeah, and from my perspective, like the tipping point, I mean, the tipping point should have been, 1947, but like the recent tipping point should have been October 2023, when they expelled 2 million people from their homes, and every humanitarian organization said this is going to have devastating consequences of humanitarian proportions never seen before. And like, nobody cared, nobody batted an eye. The one thing that seems to be hitting people differently is the mass starvation. And like, that's great. I'm glad that the tides are turning with support a little bit, but like, it should have happened so long ago.
I think that too, and I'm not sure why. Like, I'm not sure what that was. So watching children get blown up wasn't a problem, but for some reason them starving is a problem. Like, I found that very suspect. Like, I don't understand that. Or are people using that as a convenient excuse to now get on the right side of history because they see that the tide is changing?
Yeah, it's just what tugs on the human heartstrings. And I think, especially for Americans, it's really easy to just say, oh, that's war, or it's the Middle East, I don't really care about it. But when you see pictures of the starving children, that connects with you on an emotional level rather than just a statistical level. And I think it hits people differently.
Couldn't have said it better. I was in Vegas a couple of times within the last 6 months, and I can tell you that from when I had visited before to when I visited now, the city seems kind of dead. Am I wrong? It feels like Vegas is it's wearing out it's like worn out its welcome for a lot of people. Obviously, the water problems cannot be ignored. It does seem that if there's an example of capitalism failing, Vegas is kind of like a really good example of that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a little bit overstated in the media, but it's definitely noticeable. Like, numbers are down, casinos are closing. Like, you do see the effects of it. And I think it stems from quite a few different things. COVID-19, of course. The economy under both Biden and Trump hasn't been great for a lot of people, so they don't have as much expendable income. And one thing we're also seeing a lot is just people don't want to travel to the US under Trump. I haven't fact checked this statistic, but I read that the U.S. is the only country where tourism is down, and so it seems like almost impossible for that to be like literally true. But like, most countries' tourism is up, and in the U.S. it's down, and Trump is the reason why.
Yeah, well, and even people don't feel safe, here, nor should they. You've got Gestapo rounding people up in the streets, and people are seeing that. Why would anybody want, we don't have free speech apparently either. So, I don't know why people would really want to come here.
I'm in commercial real estate, and I can tell you that, being that I'm in the Florida Panhandle, and in the state of Florida in particular, you do have a lot of Canadians that do come here for different periods of time out of the year. And when I connect with some of these property owners, they're just, their attitude is, as long as Trump's there, I'm not doing any business in the U.S. and I'm not selling my properties either. I'm just letting them sit, and that's that.
Do you think it's a moral issue, or that they just think because of him they can't trust the economics and the economy, that they're worried about the economy, not that they're taking a moral stand?
I think it's a combination of both, because Trump is just such a wild card. You don't know what the hell he's going to do from one day to the next. We're totally doing the tariffs, and then the next day something changes. It's like, well, that's not a stable economy. That's not one way you're going to convince people that, investing your money here is a good idea. And I agree with you. I think that Vegas is one of those sort of like prime spots where, because people are not traveling to the country, they're not going to the Disneyland type places. I would definitely say that that's a source for concern.
Well, talk about the water. I mean, like, what's going on? I mean, obviously we built a city in the middle of a desert there, and it's probably not meant to be, just like South Florida is not meant to be.
Well, let's be fair. Vegas has always been a city that has been able to manage itself, but now I think they've reached a point where they overbuilt. They brought the professional football team there. You know, it's like everything.
How long have you lived there, Justin?
I've lived there on and off for the past 20 years, basically.
Right, but you grew up where? Where are you?
I grew up in Virginia, right outside of DC.
Oh, okay. So that's a bit, yeah. I just, I used to go to, like, before children, we went to Vegas a few times a year. It was fun. For me, it was, I couldn't care less about gambling. It's shows, it's just food, it's, whatever. But once Love, once the Beatles' Love was not there anymore, I kind of feel like I don't have a reason to go back.
Yeah, understandable. And there's a lot of parts of Vegas that I absolutely hate. Like, yeah, I'm a professional poker player, but I'm not blind to what the casino industry is doing.
So where do you travel? Where do you like to go? Because obviously Vegas would not be it.
I like Vancouver a lot. I'm actually applying for my permanent residency because I would rather live in Canada than the US.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'd rather live in a country with universal health care too.
Yeah, 100%. And a country that doesn't have Trump in charge would be nice.
Yeah.
And if you're picking a place in Canada, you're definitely picking perhaps the best culinary city in the entire any of the provinces. I mean,
best sushi.
Oh yeah.
So very good sushi there. So does that not affect your career? Like, you could be anywhere, right? Like, you don't, obviously, like I said, you're not hanging out in the casinos to play. It's kind of funny. So why live in Vegas?
Like I said, I'm applying for permanent residency in Canada.
Right,
I already spend a lot of time there. So like, I kind of feel like I have one foot out the door already. Until I get my permanent residency, I can't just like get rid of my home in Vegas though.
Right. That makes sense.
Well, hopefully when you sell it, you get it for a decent price. Because down here in South Florida, we could tell you that with the sea level rising, eventually somebody's just going to be holding the bag and they're not going to be able to do anything with
well, that's going to happen in Vegas too. You're going to run out of water. I mean, I've heard that the dam is down, right? Like Lake Mead, isn't it like drying up? Like, I don't understand how they can keep building when you're running out of water.
The other thing about Vegas that doesn't get talked about enough that you can attest to, even though you obviously are in a very comfortable financial position, is even you, I'm sure, see it. The prices in Vegas are so insane. There is no way to describe it. You're talking about like the average hamburger that you would get in a restaurant. So I'm not talking about like a restaurant. I'm talking about like a burger hop joint. It's at least $20. Like, there's nothing normal about Vegas now. Nothing. And if they think that that's what's going to keep the riffraff out, I'm sorry. That's not going to happen.
Not if you're going.
Well, no, but comparatively speaking,
you've been there how many times? Clearly, it's not working.
But you know what though? I didn't think I gambled like once when I was there. I was there for work. So
you really ought not be gambling anyway.
No, but do you consider poker gambling?
I do. A lot of poker players hate calling it gambling because, there's luck in gambling. There's a lot of luck in poker. Like, I hate to break it to you.
Well, yeah.
Of course, if we played millions of hands, I would win against you every time. But if we just played,
without a doubt, I'm sure you would.
But Jen, if you and I just played 5 hands, you could easily get lucky and beat me over those 5 hands.
3-card Monty.